What's up, mischief makers? Welcome back to Erico Blueberry. It's an unassuming Destiny podcast. My name is Chillybin.
Fuck, it's time for some shenanigans. It's Meckii.
Just straight in, don't even worry about getting like 30 seconds in before dropping
Oh,
an F bomb. It's fine. We're not
bleep it.
monetized. I'm not bleeping it. I love swearing. So we're gonna stand in our truth. We're gonna live through this together. We both love to swear. Hey, Guardian Games is still going on. Destiny's happening. There's some updates, but I think I can say this for both of us. We've not played much.
I've played maybe 10 hours in the last week.
I am. I think my hour count is close to that, but for Death Stranding, a game I'm very actively trying to finish. I played. I call it like a couple of hours today before we recorded. Did some Guardian game stuff. Did like I don't know an hour or so last week. Um, yeah, yeah, that's where the game's at right now, as we've spoken about. Um, but hey, let's talk about a little bit of it, because I have some thoughts about Guardian Games right now and the hoverboard situation. And yeah, focused activities are a little janky. So you get Guardian Game starts, they give you the hoverboard. They're like, great, here's a uh, you know, white version of this thing that says it will expire at the end of Guardian Games. And the way to get a real one that sticks around forever is a quest that you get. And there are one of three options. One is get like, what is it, 1,200 points from submitting medals. I'm at 33 out of 1,200 because that's just how much I'm playing. The other one is like get in the top 10% of Nightfall competitive scores. Really fucking hard to do. It also doesn't tell you what the target is. So you just have to keep running them and hope for the best. And the other one is open three, what do they call them? Like winners packages or something from the focused activity thing. And the way that works, which took me like a good minute to get my head around this, is when you load the tower map, there are four activity icons across the top that are for Guardian games. And I think it's roughly every 4 hours, one of those will become the focused activity. The best guess I could find is that on weekdays it lasts for 2 hours, and on weekends it lasts for three. Basically, you go in, you run that activity as your chosen class, then you'll earn points for your class, and then whichever class gets the most points after the activity ends will get a winner's package, right? So you got a few sort of iterations per day, but the trick is the first one that you do within each of those focused activity blocks is essentially the class that you are pledging your points to, so that every run you do after that first one, that's where your points go. Now, I say that as someone who has one of each, really only plays one. So I could dip in and be like, I'm going to run the first one on a hunter. It's going to be a mess because I haven't touched this character in months. But I did one earlier this afternoon because I logged in. It was Titan. We were already ahead by heaps. So I was like, great, I'll just do, I don't know, like 3 or 4 of these, get some points on the board. And then what's supposed to happen is when that focused activity ends, the winning class, anyone who participated, gets the winner's package like put into their inventory. I think it just should show up there. Mine still hasn't, and I checked it right before we recorded. So I don't know if that will show up at all. There's mixed reports of them showing up, not showing up at all, not registering in the quest when you do open them. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Not a fan of this
I
quest.
I knew it was a thing, but then I was like, I don't know what it means. And I saw the little thing up above, you know how you have, what is it? Playlist, Nightfall, Crucible, Gambit.
Yeah.
And then there's the little thing above it.
Yeah, but the thing you have
I
to look
hovered
for
over
is
it.
there's like a little bit of like laurels that get put on the bottom edge of the icon for the activity that is focused at the time. So it's not always Nightfalls.
Because I noticed one of the activities has this little symbol that looks like I think it looks like an ear taper, if you've ever seen an ear taper.
Sure. That's the symbol for the hoverboard. So that's saying that like the quest to get the hoverboard, this is the thing.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, is it this?
No.
And then I just haven't been bothered Googling it. I just keep. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, the reason I dislike this quest structure is I want that hoverboard. Everybody wants that hoverboard. The way to get one is that quest, or to go in the store and pay them real money via silver to get the like Galahorn themed one. And this quest just like the first two options. Well, okay, so it's basically a choice between like grind a ton of Guardian games. Option 2, somehow get a really good Nightfall score when you don't know what the target is, or this like thing that works some of the time and comes around like what 5-6 times a day. So like in theory, the focused activity one is the easiest because you've got so many chances to get a package and the work you have to do in theory is relatively low. But when they don't work, I kind of get a bit
What do we do?
Annoyed about that, yeah. As much as I'm trying to remain positive about it, like the hoverboard's sick, which is why I'm like even trying this. But if that quest didn't exist, I would not be touching this at all. Because it's just frustrating. It's just like mildly janky the entire time.
I'm gonna have to. We had a chat before the episode that I'm definitely gonna go in and try and do the focused activity tonight, just so I have an experience of it.
Yeah,
and then
I think right now there's one. There's one in like 3 hours.
Yeah, can report back next episode because I just haven't touched them.
Yeah.
And also I want the hoverboard as well.
Yeah, because the bundle in the store that gets you the Galahorn one is 2,500 silver, which is fucking expensive. Like most of those like armor sets that they do, I think top out at like 2,000. I might even be misremembering that, but like that, it just seems expensive. I don't think that they've ever been like, predatory with their pricing or anything like that, but when those are the two ways to get this the first time they've ever introduced a new vehicle type, like that, it doesn't feel great.
It's a bit.
Yeah, I don't think any of it's malicious or anything. I think it's just like one of those quests where they thought maybe people would engage with it more than they are. Well, people like us. Like I'm sure there are people out there who are just dunking medals and getting it that way, right? Like that just feels like a brute force approach I don't have the time for.
I could probably do it that way just because I've been just running platinum stuff over and over and over again. So I went from never doing Nightfalls to I think I've done like 13, 14 plus in the last few days.
Yeah.
Like I'm just stacking up on platinum cards and then whatever bounties relate to that activity I'm doing. And I'm just, and then eventually when I get dry on Nightfalls, I'll go do the Gambit card and just get a gold or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just like for where I'm at right now, it's a little hard to swallow when I'm not putting a lot of time into the game. Guardian Games is kind of the only thing going on right now, and the fact that it's kind of an all or nothing approach. Like if I want to get anything out of it, I've got to put way more time into the game than I have been recently. And it's not to say that I don't enjoy playing it. It's just that like the hooks aren't there right now the way that they have been, even like during the seasonal story, right? Like we were enjoying the Riven stuff and all the story, and then it kind of just dried up very quickly after that. And we know the reasons why: layoffs, delayed expansion, all that stuff. Yeah, just I guess what I'm feeling is that for me, I would have liked some of those requirements to be reduced just so they don't feel like such a burden.
I think it kind of says a lot, though, that in the, what has it been, 5 years since we've jumped back on this game, pandemic. So let's say early 2020,
About
4 or
that.
5 years that we're back, quote unquote, full time playing this game. This is the first time in half a decade that you and I have got like genuine Destiny fatigue.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd describe it as fatigue. It's more just like I want
genuine,
to play the game.
Yeah.
It's just there isn't much to do.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the first time in half a decade that we've hit a point where we're like, what is there to do?
Yeah, and like they've had periods like this in the game before, even back as far as Destiny 1. So yeah, I don't like, people want to doomsay and be like, oh, it's the end of Destiny, like here's the death spiral. I don't think that's true. I think it's just it's probably the biggest confluence with like negative factors affecting the studio happening. Layoffs, delays, all the other like general economic issues. And yeah, it's a game that's been running a long time and people will just cycle out. Yeah, I think it just like maybe is hitting a little harder because of just everything going on around it,
Yeah. So for me, another reason I'm not forcing myself to play is because this kind of weird patch that the game is in at the moment felt like the weird patch that I fell off of Destiny 1 through. And I identified through, 2020 is hindsight's 2020. That me forcing myself to find joy and keep playing Destiny 1 is what burnt me out on Destiny 1 and pushed me off the game.
Yeah.
So I'm a little less desperate to be like, I need to play Destiny today. But Guardian Games has gotten me back in it, though. Like, I am playing an hour or two every couple of days, depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at as well. Is like I don't want to force myself to boot the game and drop a ton of time into it, because I will just like actually get legitimately mad or frustrated. Like at the moment, it's just like I'm mildly frustrated that the time I am putting into it doesn't feel as rewarding, or like I'm being rewarded for the effort I am putting in. It's basically just like, oh, you can see, like I'm playing just enough to see how much work it would take to get the thing I kind of want, but I don't want it bad enough to like force that, right? Like if it got to the end of Guardian Games and I really deeply wanted that hoverboard, like I have the silver route, as much as I don't want to do that, that is always an option. But I also like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of them, right? It's just that we've got one right now, and like it's the first time they've done it, so it seems like, oh, it's either now or never. But yeah, it's just I want to play more. It's a weird sentiment, but at the same time, I also don't want to like force myself into it.
Then it becomes a chore, not a game.
Yeah. And I just
don't. But I mean, the plus side is it looks like we've got some new content coming in 2 weeks.
Yes. You beat me to my own segue. I had completely forgotten about
Brain cell at work.
Yeah, I'd completely forgotten about this. Like they talked about it in, I think around when they were announcing the delay of Final Shape, or like shortly thereafter. Into the Light is starting April 9th. But I think that's the US date, the US reset date. So it'll be 10th for us. So in like less than a month, which I can't remember how they described it. Wasn't it like you're revisiting the story to date
like
through missions?
Pivotal moments in Destiny 2 history or something.
Because they've done that with like the missions that appear on the timeline, but there's like only a few of them, and those I think are meant more as like new player onboarding rather than this. So that'll be interesting. But in the like leading up to that, we have 3 weekly live streams that they're doing. I think the one. I think they said the one this coming week is talking about Into the Light. Whether or not they're all about Into the Light, I don't know. But yeah, those will be on. Well, they say Tuesday, so Wednesday for us. I'm unsure of the time. I think it said like 10 a.m. Pacific, so that'll be like fucking 2 a.m. for us.
For us, yeah.
Disgusting.
The usual 3 a.m. reset.
Yeah.
3 a.m.
But that's kind of exciting. Like they're describing it as like new things to do.
Yeah.
So that'll be tasty. We've got a few weeks of like live streams, and then it drops a week after that. I wish I remembered more of what it actually is supposed to be.
They've always been kind of vague about it, though.
Yeah.
I don't think they've actually given us a solid answer, because even in the twid that was like, hey, these streams are coming, also Into the Light is coming. They were like, what is Into the Light? Well, we're going to be streaming to explain that.
Yeah.
So I don't think they've actually outright said what it is yet.
Yeah, they describe it as the next big content update. Plus like, some sandbox and quality of life stuff they're throwing in as well. But yeah, it's running through April and May, and then Final Shape is out early June. So this is basically what they're filling the gap with once we get through Guardian Games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just checking the page now. They say that each of the live streams will focus on different parts of the content update and presented by developers. So like it must be big enough if they're dedicating 3 live streams to it. There's probably one that, like, if it's a big sandbox update, maybe they're just talking about like weapon tuning for a bit, but that's got to be pretty dry. I don't imagine they actually go through that too deeply.
Yeah.
But yeah, tune into, I don't know, Twitch, Bungie, whatever it is. Middle of next week.
We'll be watching the VODs.
Yes.
I'm not getting up for that.
I mean, look, little peek behind the curtain for the audience here, but we could potentially watch next week's one in person together.
Oh yeah.
You're going to be in town for Australia's Knotfest, which is actually not too far from my house. No promises, but we might be able to figure something out there. Not a lot of time in the schedule while you're down here, but we'll see. It depends how long the video actually ends up being. Like if it's a 3-hour live stream and we want to do a like reaction situation, like I don't know if we'll be able to fit that in, but we'll see. We might be able to figure something out, because otherwise we're probably not going to get an episode out next week.
Yeah.
We'll be too busy
partying.
Yeah, getting up in the mosh, crowd killing some teenagers who don't know how to behave at a metal show. We'll see. It's going to be a weird energy, because like Pantera and Disturbed are like the headliners, and also Lamb of God is there.
Then Skindred, which is like Rasta metal.
Yeah, but they're from Wales. And then like further down the list, there's like Gang Called Speed and Wind Waker. So like the energy is going to be all over the place.
And then fucking Wage War.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Oh, Brand of Sacrifice, which is just straight like beatdowns.
Hell yeah. So yeah, like one way or another, you and I will watch that live stream. Whether or not we create anything for this show out of it, TBD. Live streams 2 and 3, we'll probably be able to work something out there, because we'll both be, in our respective home setups. But we'll see. Either way, it gives us stuff to talk about that isn't Guardian Games and not much else.
Hullabaloos.
Yes. Oh, I can't believe we forgot to talk about Hullabaloos. Please tell me where you're up to.
22.
Fuck. You're not even,
and considering
I've
played
doing that much.
According to Steam, I've played 15 hours in the last fortnight.
That's more than 1 an hour. That's good odds. It was like
I dropped 5 in one chest opening. You know how you go up the pedestals?
Yeah.
The platinum one just dropped a whole bunch of them, and I was like,
so good.
tidy.
I remember like it was either an interview or a like blog post about an update to Diablo 3 one time. And they were talking about like the drop rate on legendary items, which are like, you know, they make a big deal about it when it happens in the game. And I think they said something like they want everyone that plays Diablo 3 to be dropping a legendary item at least once an hour. Because it's like a real good dopamine hit, and you're like, oh yeah, I can just go get another one, get another roll. So you're on that treadmill of Hullabaloos.
What a fun word.
So good. Hullabaloos and mischief. Look at you go.
Hullabalooza.
Ooh. That might actually be the episode title. I had one written down already, but that might be better. It's what I wrote down. Hullabaloo season. I think Hullabalooza is way better. I'm gonna write that down now so I don't forget. Otherwise, I will just be like, "What was it meant to be? I don't know. Why does my pen not work? Hello, Hullabalooza. Hello, Hullabaloo." I had like 5 hours sleep. Leave me alone. Okay, so 22 Hullabaloos. What are you gonna do with them?
I love that rhymes too. 22 Hullabaloo.
Are you gonna stop there?
No.
When does it end?
When Guardian Games ends.
Okay. Oh god. That's just so many grenade launchers that you're not using. It's very funny. What else is going on? You had a build update?
Oh yeah, I jump scared you with a kind of cracked solar build.
You just like you sent it to me on Snapchat, right? You just like zoomed in on your
me cackling at these stats. Uh-oh.
Go on.
So last episode, for those who are joining us again, I was talking about, and Chili was mildly bullying me about being a support warlock in D2 who can't play support warlock in D1 who can't play support warlock in D2. I found a way. Oops, accidentally 113 resilience.
That's so many points that are doing nothing. Like once you go past 100, nothing actually makes a difference.
I don't know why it did that.
You could take 13 points out of something, surely.
So yeah, I redirected it into intelligence so that my recharge rate, because other than having like 113 resilience, I then had 90 recovery.
Those are good stats. You want to stay alive.
So I was like, oh, I could take this mod off and I'd lose the 10 points, but I'm going to go put that on in intelligence. But basically it all started with me just getting purple gear in dim and just saying, I want to prioritize X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Then masterworking anything that wasn't masterworked.
Yeah.
And then that cranked everything up again, especially on the exotics. And then plugging all my mods in. And then, oops, 113 and 90. Oopie.
Yeah, I think I need to go mess around with dim some more. The fact that it like just shortcut you on that whole process is very powerful.
And then once I took a mod off and swapped it out, oops, 103 and 90, and then something like 80 on my intelligence.
Yeah, that's real good.
It's cracked. I just have a very good Sunbracer roll. That's masterworked. That does a lot of work for me in my solo rolls. And then you can quit your bitching because I picked Lumina as my exotic weapon. And I hate it. I get so angry at this gun. I hate this gun.
But you're helping all your friends.
Give me Sunshot back.
You can have Sunshot. That's fine.
No, so the Lumina loop actually builds into my radiance.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a way that you can use Lumina to proc radiance. And then I swapped out my sun braces, boots of the assembler.
Oh, yeah.
And now everyone just has orbs. Everyone's just constantly being healed by shit. And it's very funny.
Yes. Why are all of your
so
builds
like
slinging orbs at the homies?
Take my love.
Take my balls.
Balls just everywhere. So if you miss out on a boots of assembler homie, little floaty guy, I can send a Lumina homie over to you.
Yes.
So if you're just that little bit too far away for boots to catch you, I can send a Lumina. And then on top of that, I have the thing where if you hold a grenade, it then turns into a shield grenade.
Right.
I have all of that going.
Yeah.
Phoenix down.
There you go.
Blah, 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 blah. So I did it. I built an actual real big girl support build. And now I've just got the issue with this support build is I have gotten so used to playing aggressively that this build actually requires you to hang back a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't sound like you're packing a lot of heat firepower-wise.
No, so your primary is going to be Lumina, obviously, as what is it, a hand cannon?
Yeah, kinetic.
Kinetic. And then I have for my secondary, I try and put either a solar shotgun or an auto rifle in, so that if I get flooded with ads or a big boy does the steppy, I can try and get out of dodge that way. And then my heavy being a solar rocket launcher with lasting impression.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
So sticky nades.
Yeah.
For boss damage. And then depending on what we need, I've made it accidentally so that even if I pick Daybreak instead of Dawnblade, instead of it still recharges at roughly the same rate.
Okay. Weird.
Yeah. But is obviously the preferred one, being a support build.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's just really funny that we were literally shitting on my builds last week and I accidentally a really good support build in that time.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show bullying works.
Yeah, peer pressure is effective.
Peer pressure is effective. Shame is a powerful motivator.
God, yeah. Combine all of them.
Tap into your childhood trauma.
Yeah, yeah. Just make me relive all of those memories and have a very...
Papa, are you proud of me?
have a very visceral reaction when a friend gives me a light roasting.
It's constantly seeking male validation.
I need it. God, I need it.
Fatherless behavior in Destiny 2.
Papa, can you hear me? I'm proud of you.
Just take my build to Zavala. Like, Daddy, you proud?
Just hold it up.
Please tell me you're proud of me, Father.
Please, I need it. I need you to say it.
Please.
Don't just nod.
Bald man.
Say old or bald?
Bald.
Okay.
Please. Validate me.
That's good. I'm proud of you. Good work. Now we just need to get a group together for a dungeon or a raid and you can show it off to everybody.
Test it.
Yeah.
Instead of doing it on blueberries, which is a thankless task.
God, they just, you might get a thoughtful commendation at the end and that's the best you could hope for.
I heal someone and they just do the squat toggle.
Yeah.
As a thank you. The universal Destiny 2 sign of thank you for some reason has just become that basically teabagging.
Well, because the other option is I use one of my 4 emote slots as a thumbs up emote or something. And it's I want to do goofy dances on people's faces.
I need an emote where it's blowing kisses.
Yeah.
Surely there's a kissy emote somewhere. My son. My boy.
Yeah, there's so many stupid emotes. There's probably something in there that would
I'll
be
Google
good.
it. I'll see if there's a kissing emote or a blowing kiss emote.
I'm
Make
sure
that a
there
thing.
is at this point. It's gotta be.
Destiny introduce sign language emotes. How about that?
That'd be something. Yeah.
It's almost like blowing a kiss.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is that what? No, that's not what they're doing.
No, it's
yeah.
The one I've seen is like, but that's more like, my adoring fans.
Right.
It's less at the homies. Yeah. Give me an emote, Bungie, where I can kiss my homies on the forehead. But with consent. You have to stand in the circle to consent to forehead kisses. And then you have to
turn around and run away. That's the one. Speaking of, I don't know, weird things that you can put on your character, there's Ghostbusters shit coming.
Yes.
Coming like
the Slimer ghost
in like 3 or 4 days. It's dropping.
I might actually spend money on that because Ghostbusters is a massive part of my childhood, and I know they're kind of doing it in line with the new Ghostbusters movie. But
I mean, here's the thing, right? I've never seen a Ghostbusters movie, but that like the station wagon spaceship thing that they have put in that image. Do you know how much I love that like wood panel van?
Cadillac 80s, like.
Yeah, I want it just purely on aesthetics. And then I'll watch Ghostbusters eventually, I'm sure. But I haven't yet.
Well, in Ghostbusters, it's an old, like, 1970s. This isn't spoilers because the car is iconic. It's an old 1970s ambulance.
Yes.
And it goes, wah, wah.
This thing looks sick as hell.
It's fun.
Maybe I should watch Ghostbusters this week.
What if we did a server watch along?
No one's around at the moment.
True.
Maybe, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll watch it at some point. He says, having said that for like 20 years.
My favorite is Xbox commenting on the post. And the comment is, us, everything's haunted. Zavala, what? Us, loading a pistol and getting back into our spaceship shaped like a 1959 Cadillac Sentinel. Everything's haunted.
What are they doing? Xbox, settle down.
So great.
Xbox, turn off.
Someone else suggested with the new Ghostbusters movie being called Frozen Empire, they missed the opportunity to also buff Stasis.
Oh, okay. Just for a week. Just make it real goofy. Overcorrect it. Hey, it looks,
I'm excited.
Looks good to me.
That Slimer ghost, incredible.
Kind of disgusting, actually. Like it's got the ghost in its
Slimer.
teeth.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I think the sparrow is meant to be Zool. When you see the movie, you'll understand that reference.
Okay, because I don't. It just looks like a horned goat situation.
You'll understand.
Okay. But yeah, aside from that, I think that is kind of it. ATM TBH. So we will probably, I don't know, just wrap it there. And then next week, you and I.
Short one.
Yeah, hey, next week you and I get to hang out in person, and that may or may not result in content. No promises, no guarantees.
Worst case scenario on the socials, it'll just be us vibing.
Yeah. The socials. We don't have socials for the show. It'll just be
our personal socials.
Yeah, our separate personal shit. But yeah, we will either have something about the live stream next week or we won't. And then back the week after, all things going to plan, with that week's live stream to talk about, at least. So hey, stay tuned to Erico Blueberry. Stuff is kind of happening soon. Yeah, it'd be nice to do one of these and not caveat it with like, fucking nothing's happening.
Yeah. We're ramping back up. We're getting there. It's slowly getting closer and closer.
Yeah. Maybe we'll try and like revisit some lore before Final Shape drops. I think that'll be good because it's been a while since I've thought about it. It's been a while since a lot of big story stuff happened. I feel like I need it, and I don't want to sit down. I don't want to sit down for another fucking like 4 to 6 hour lore recap video. I did that the one time for like before Shadowkeep or whatever the big one was that everybody watched. I don't need that. I don't even play that much Destiny in a week. Although I could play Destiny while I have it on in the background. We'll see.
True.
We will see. But until next time, there's a bunch of buttons below the video that you should press. Not all of them, actually, because there's one that is a thumb pointing down, and that's a bad button. Don't touch that one. Press the other ones. Not the report button either, actually. Okay, there's more than one bad button.
Please start.
If you're in the audio-only version of this show, I don't know what podcast app you're using, but I'm sure it's got a way to tell a friend about it or something. You should do that. You should tweak the various knobs that let you do that. Finagle all the buttons on your phone. I don't know where I'm going with this. Tell a friend. Play some Destiny. Read a book. Touch some grass. And we'll be back next time. Bye-bye.
Love you. Not to get parasocial, but love you.